leading off tonight, the politics of distraction. By now, you've probably heard about the controversy over Barack Obama's use yesterday of the phrase, lipstick on a pig. The McCain campaign said Obama was talking about Sarah Palin. The Alaska governor had said at the Republican convention that lipstick was the difference between a hockey mom and a pit bull. Obama made his remark yesterday to supporters in Lebanon, Virginia. Here's what he said. You be the judge.
John McCain says he's about change too. And so I guess his whole angle is, watch out, George Bush. Except for economic policy, healthcare policy, tax policy, education policy, foreign policy, and Karl Rove-style politics, we're really going to shake things up in Washington. That's not change. That's just calling the same thing something different. But you know, you can't, you can put lipstick on a pig. It's still a pig. You can wrap an old fish in a piece of paper called change. It's still going to stink.
Was that about Sarah Palin? The McCain campaign says yes, it was, and immediately went up with an internet ad saying so. Obama answered back, spare me the phony outrage. Real or unreal? The McCain campaign must think it's on to something here. It's not backing off. We're going to spend most of tonight's hardball talking about whether the McCain campaign is smearing Obama or whether when he said lipstick on a pig, he really was talking about Governor Palin. We'll talk to Democratic and Republican office holders and strategists and to journalists covering the campaign. And I'll share my own thoughts with you about how, with a troubled economy, crumbling bridges, rail and roads, a failing educational system, a war that is now going on for 5 years, and an uncertain American economic future, we're sitting here talking about lipstick. So let's begin with two political strategists on either side of this issue. Republican John Feehery, who worked for many years for the Speaker of the House, and Democrat Jenny Backus, responsible for the Democratic Convention out in Denver. Well, let's take a look right now. Here's John McCain using the lipstick line himself twice last year. This is John McCain, not Barack.
In 1993, we rejected the then Clinton universal health care proposal. It was rejected by the American people. I don't like to use this term, but the latest proposal I see is putting lipstick on a pig, as we used to say.
There's many things that concern me about it. It's vaguely, not vaguely, but eerily reminiscent of what they tried back in 1993. I think they put some lipstick on the pig, but it's still a pig.
Well, there you have it, John. Feehery, was he talking about Governor Palin then?
You know what? Looking in the room, I think inside the room they thought he was. You know, this follows a sustained.
No, it was John McCain.
Oh, John McCain. I'm sorry.
But he used the exact phrase. Was the same
well, that
phrase.
was well before.
What was he talking about, Governor Palin?
No, of course he was.
Who was he talking about?
He was talking about a health care proposal.
Let me go on to let me go to Jenny Backus. Was John McCain talking about Governor Palin when he used the phrase lipstick on a pig?
No, he's talking about Hillary Clinton's health care policy, the same Hillary Clinton that they voters that they seem to be trying to go after now. Hey, look, Chris, if Republicans want to talk about makeup, let's talk about what they've been making up about Sarah Palin's record. Let's talk about what they've been making up about their economic record or the makeup of the next Supreme Court. But I mean, I think you had it right with the title of the show. The Republicans are employing weapons of mass distraction to get away from the whole issues that are out there that voters care about. And I just don't think it's going to work at the end of the day.
Jenny and John, let's roll and let the McCain campaign speak for itself. Here's what they're saying out there in a web ad out right now.
You know, they say the difference between a hockey mom and a pit bull? Lipstick.
But you know, you can't. You know, you can put lipstick on a pig. It's still a pig.
One of the great lessons of that campaign is the continued and accepted role of sexism in American life.
So what do you make of that confection, John? Putting it all together, they put together Barack Obama's comment, they put together, before that, Governor Palin's comment, then they throw in Katie Couric of CBS. They say, in fact, at one point, this is Barack Obama speaking about Sarah Palin. Was he speaking about Sarah Palin?
Well, like I said before,
I mean, it says that. Was that true?
People inside the room certainly thought so. He was making a joke. People thought it was.
John.
How do you know what people in the room thought?
Well, because you could tell by the reaction.
You could tell. Okay, let me ask you this. Let me just straighten one thing out tonight, because this is a very important issue. Is John McCain saying that Barack Obama called Governor Palin a pig? Is John McCain saying that Barack Obama called Governor Palin a pig?
I don't think so. I think what he was saying was he was making kind of a joke at Sarah Palin's expense. He wasn't calling her a pig, obviously.
What was he doing? What was he saying?
Yeah, I think what he's saying in this commercial is that this is a problem that you have to be real careful in this campaign and what you say.
Oh,
and how
careful.
You say it.
Well, are you saying it?
I am saying it. Of course,
You believe he was referring to Sarah Palin?
I don't know.
Just a minute. Let's get to it. Because if it's not, just a minute. I'm doing your job for a second here. Then you can take over. I'm just trying to get straight what we're talking about here. Because if John McCain isn't accusing his rival of calling his running mate a pig, then we shouldn't be talking about this. Well, if he didn't call her, but we're seeing a commercial that says Barack Obama on Sarah Palin put out with the money of John McCain's campaign. So he's not endorsing his campaign ad? Yes or no? Is he endorsing that message or not?
I have no idea. I mean,
well, he is. We just saw it. He paid for it.
Well, he did pay for it. Listen.
Okay, then John McCain is saying that his opponent, Barack Obama, is called, in fact, his running mate, a pig.
No, I think that what
it said Barack Obama on Sarah Palin right there. I'm not going to say it again, but you can respond. You can respond.
I think what the issue.
The audience, by the way, is watching. They know what's being said in that commercial. We'll play it again, but I think it's enough for them. They've heard it.
Let me just say that I think that the fact of the matter is that you have to be very careful what you say in this campaign. I think everyone agrees you have to be careful. And I'd like that. Frankly, I would like to get back on the big issues.
No. You're saying no, because you're not going to get back, because this is all over the place. Let's take a look at the number of times McCain used the phrase lipstick on a pig fairly recently. Sure. In October of 2007, he used it in terms of Hillary Clinton's health care plan. In February 1st, a couple of times, February 1st last year, he used it in terms of the Iraq War. John Boehner used to work with one of the top Republicans. In fact, he's leader of the Republican Party in the House right now. He used the phrase in April of this year. In April of 2005, Senator John Kyle of Arizona used the same phrase. Rod Grams, the former senator from Minnesota, used the same phrase. Rick Santorum, the former senator of Pennsylvania, used the same phrase. John Ensign, who was just on the show recently, he used the phrase last year. This is a phrase commonly used by Republican politicians. But you say when Barack Obama uses it, he's talking about Governor Palin. I just want to know, what's your standard of proof? If you're in a courtroom right now, could you convict him of calling Governor Palin a pig?
I wouldn't even try.
Well, then why are you suggesting that's what he meant?
I didn't say that.
Want to run this commercial again?
No, what I said was that you have to be careful of this campaign. And people inside the room
What are you guys giving us, etiquette rules? Let me tell you something. Let me just show this to you. This is Tory Clark, who was press secretary for guess who? John McCain. Right. She wrote How You Use the Phrase Lipstick on a Pig in her book of that title. Right. She's teaching people how to use the phrase and what it means. Here's what she says. Spin has become increasingly vulnerable as information sources have proliferated. Spin is simply no longer viable. Or, put another way, you can put lipstick on a pig, but it's still a pig. She's saying it's a standard usage phrase for cutting through spin. Exactly the way Barack Obama, the Democratic candidate, used it. Your witness, Jenny.
Well, the other thing
I made my point, which I think is the Republicans use this phrase relentlessly. All their leaders use it. John McCain uses it. His former press secretary wrote a book entitled Lipstick on a Pig, explaining how to use it to cut through spin. John, you're allowed to say uncle on this show. Well, you're allowed to come on and say, my party in this case is full of bunk. You're allowed to do that. I give you time to think about that. Your thoughts, Jenny?
Well, I mean, I think the other important thing, I mean, what John was trying to say there, I mean, people need to be very careful about charges of sexism because, you know, if Sarah Palin and John McCain are so concerned about sexism, how come they don't support equal pay for equal work? Where's the outrage on that?
Are you talking substance?
I actually
am. Substance?
Stop the
My God.
It is crazy.
I would like to. I would like to talk about substance.
But that is, I mean, and to go back again, I mean, there is a really disturbing thing happening for people who actually, like me, there's a lot of Democrats for a long time that thought Joe Biden, everybody thought that John McCain was a pretty decent guy. But what you're seeing now here is the beginning of hypocrisy. And I think that's a big problem. It's how they brought down John Kerry. They tried to make him look hypocritical. Here you've got two candidates who say they want to change the tone. And really the only makeup worth talking about is...
Let me say this, that throughout this, ever since Sarah Palin became the nominee, there's been a sustained attack on everything she said and done, most of which are complete and total lies from the other campaign.
Would you want to talk about? All right, let's talk about it. How about taxpayer per diem, taking a per diem from the taxpayer to stay at home? How about taxpayers paying for travel? How about Bridge to Nowhere? I think that's stuff that they made
She killed the Bridge to Nowhere, and that's been widely acknowledged that she killed the Bridge to Nowhere.
She was for the bridge before she was against it.
Well, of course. I mean, she's a governor. And then she saw there was a coast crossover.
You're not going to show that montage, whatever collage, whatever you call it, over and over again of her saying she opposed. Look, I'm not getting in this fight. I do have a tremendous amount of faith in John McCain's integrity. He used to be on the show all the time. In fact, we did a big thing with him a couple months ago up at Villanova. I don't believe he would sit where you're sitting and call his opponent, or say his opponent called his running mate a pig. I don't believe he'd say that.
I agree.
So I wonder why his people agreed to an ad. Let's, if we can, show the ad one more time, so that we all know what we're talking. This is what the focus is. It's not what John McCain says, because he hasn't said anything. It's what he's allowed his campaign to put out, which I think is a distraction. I think you agree with me. We shouldn't be talking about this, just to deal with this. Let's take a look right now at the campaign web video paid for and put out by the McCain campaign. So we're reminding ourselves what we're really dealing with here, which is a claim I don't think the candidate himself would make. Let's watch.
You know, they say the difference between a hockey mom and a pit bull? Lipstick.
But you know, you can't, you can put lipstick on a pig. It's still a pig.
And then, of course, they threw it. I'm waiting for Katie Couric to say, I shouldn't be using these ads, but they're using her, sort of her bona fides. Let me get a Jenny in here. They're using Katie Couric of CBS, who's non-political. She obviously has points of view in her private life, but she's not a politician by any means. They're using her to sort of back up this claim. What do you make of that?
I don't think it flies. I think, and this is the campaign that won't even let Sarah Palin talk to Katie Couric, much less talk to any other reporter. Look, I think that you raised a really important point earlier, which is if John McCain can't even stand up to his own campaign advisors to get them to take down an ad, which is totally a distraction from what this whole election is all about, then how is he going to stand up to Osama bin Laden and everybody else? I mean, this is
Give me a break.
It's a character question.
The top.
No, it's not. It is not. It's a character question. It's a character question. It is all about, is John McCain a straight talker? No.
Of course he's a straight talker. Of course he's a straight talker. You know that.
That's not straight talk. That's silly talk. That's Republican.
Come on. Everyone knows John McCain's got oodles of integrity.
Money is behind that ad. Money that John McCain is raising from Americans who are losing money every day. Americans are losing money every day. The economy is going downhill. We're in a war that we can't get out of. And John McCain wants to put an ad up about something that's not true and then won't even stand behind it? Is that the kind of person we want president of the United States? I don't think so.
Come on, Jenny.
I don't think so.
Come on, Jenny.
Anyway, let's do a book promotion here for our friend Tori. If you want to know what lipstick on a pig means, the former press secretary to John McCain will tell you all about how to use it. It's used to cut through spin. I think we're beating a dead horse here. I think most people know about this. Of course, we'll do it in the next segment again because I want to get some politicians on to talk about this. Let's move on to the campaign. You first, John. What is the general notion behind raising the lipstick issue? Is it to focus this campaign, as lately Atwater used to do for George Bush Sr., on the news cycle? Blah, blah, blah. The other side goes blah, blah, blah. To the public finally says, these guys are both blah, blah, blah types. There's no change issue in this campaign. There isn't a fundamental difference between the Republicans and the Democrats. So I'll vote for this more familiar guy, John McCain. Is that what the goal? Is that the tactic here of talking about this distraction?
I think this is a tactical decision. I don't think it's a good strategic decision.
Well, why are they?
I think what they need to do.
This is like Seinfeld.
I think what's going on here. I think that they're just got sick and tired of all the attacks on Sarah Palin. I would say that the more the Democrats attack Sarah Palin, the worse it is for them. And they need to be careful on how they do. I think that everyone needs to move on to the presidential and talk about the real issues. I agree with Jenny on the idea of talking about the real issues.
I'm going to give you one last time, John Ferry, and you'll be back on the show as many times as we can get you. But one question, finally. Do you believe that Barack Obama called Governor Palin a pig?
I do not believe under any circumstances.
Okay, thank you very much. We have reached greatness here. John Fury and Jenny Backus score one for your side on this very inconsequential point.